Pierre Gasly told us what he's been saying to Yuki Tsunoda about Tsunoda's current situation. Oscar Piastri explained how he really feels about what went down in Monza, and Nico Hulkenberg gave his opinion on Max Verstappen competing in other series. Here is part one of the interesting things that we learned from the F1 drivers press conference on Media Day at Baku. Starting with Nico Hulkenberg, he was asked about Max Verstappen's recent activities at the Nürburgring, and Hulkenberg finds it quite honourable to see how much Max Verstappen loves racing. He kind of admires how much Max Verstappen is committed, and reflecting on when he did something similar in 2015, he said it's quite a refreshing distraction. Also, all drivers were asked about an increase in sprint races and whether they would like to see a reverse grid. Hulkenberg said that he is a fan of sprint races, but if they are going to increase it, they need to make some considerations. For example, which tracks they pick, and that F1 is about performance, so they do need those practice sessions. And Gasly pretty much agreed with all of this. And with Piastri, he wanted to point out that reverse grids could actually decide the championship, and with F1, it is all about the championship. So it works in other series such as F2 and F3 because they were also trying to prove themselves and get into F1, but with F1, it is just the championship. Continuing with Piastri, he kept repeating the idea that the team have had a lot of conversations about how they go racing, and focusing specifically on Monza, he felt like he actually deserved third place given his pace. However, he does still believe that a slow pit stop is just part of racing, but he did want to highlight that during the race, he said some things that he only said because he didn't have the full context of the situation. The full context of the situation being the pit stop sequencing. Furthermore, if the exact same situation happened again, he would expect the pit wall to make the exact same calls. In addition, all of the drivers were asked about taking part in other series, but Piastri seemed a little less excited to do this than the other drivers, or at least he doesn't really want to do it in the near future, and he put that down to the fact that he thinks these opportunities deserve as much time as he can give them. Whereas with Gasly, he wouldn't mind trying out different cars at the end of this year, and maybe in the future he would try out different categories purely for the excitement. Unfortunately for the Alpine fans, he did say it's going to be pretty difficult for the team for the rest of the year, but they kind of resigned to that fact because they knew they were going to be so focused on 2026, although he did mention that changes in the regs throughout the year did affect them. Lastly, for Gasly, he said that he speaks to Tsunoda very openly about what's going on with Tsunoda's situation. In his opinion, they have a good relationship, and he has been giving Tsunoda advice in regards to the support and the environment that he needs. So he hopes that for the rest of the year, Tsunoda can manage to kind of cut out the noise and just focus on what he can do to make himself better. Finally, all of the drivers were asked to rank Baku between their most favourite and their least favourite track, and they all ranked Baku at about the middle.